Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Flix here. Welcome to Scenarios. This is where we look at things in the NBA that are never going to happen, but we're just kind of wondering what if. And your first question is probably, Crispy, why are you wearing that stupid orange hat? That stupid orange hunting hat. The reason, guys, is because shots are about to be fired, and I gotta protect myself, okay? So, last video, yesterday, after making this video, I made a video titled, What Exactly is MVP? And, I pretty much argued if Steph Curry should be the MVP, not because of him as a player, but just because what I think the award means. And I had a lot of people tell me that I was just stupid and that just didn't make sense, and it's like they can't. Let me be crispy one real quick. Some people did agree with me. Some people said I agree with everything you say, which those are the smart people. Then you had people out there just saying that my mindset made no sense, which I don't understand how you could be so close-minded where that doesn't make sense. But with that being said, it brought together a great scenario idea. And that is what would happen if Steph Curry was not even on the Golden State Warriors. Because now we can actually see how good this team would be. And don't get me wrong, guys. I love Steph Curry. I think he's a great player. I love what he brings to the game of basketball. And I would be making this case about anyone in this situation. So it's not just aimed at Steph Curry. No shots fired at Steph Curry, don't get me wrong. But just the idea behind the MVP to me means that, you know, if you take that player off that team, how good would that team be? So I guess we are going to test that theory and see how good the Golden State Warriors are. Keep in mind that, you know, on 2K, they never, you know, no matter what, they're never going to go like 72-10. That's just not how the game is coded. But we're going to see how much of a fall off they have in the scenario without Steph Curry. So look at the roster real quick, guys. We do have Sean Livingston as a starting point guard. What I did is I just signed, you know, your typical six, you know, guy off the bench, Nate Robinson. He was a free agent, so I signed him to the team. You know, typical backup point guard, because they would need one without Steph Curry, of course, on that team. So basically, we're going to simulate the season, see how this team does. And, you know, I expect guys like Klay Thompson, their scoring to go up. Sean Livingston, he'll probably get you about 10.6 assists a game, I guess. Harrison Barnes, I expect his scoring load to go up because, you know, Steph Curry, I don't know how many shots he averages a game, but those are shots that are no longer being taken, so therefore they have to go somewhere else. A guy like Draymond Green, I think his gameplay gets affected greatly. Not saying he's overrated, but I will say he's a big product of Curry's success out there. I mean, hell, man, you put me on the basketball court, pass to the Curry, assist. Not saying nothing against Draymond Green. You know, I think he's a great player, great hustle player out there. But, you know, he's definitely is. I call it the Steve Nash factor. You know, Steve Nash back when he was on the Phoenix Suns, well, really his whole entire career, he could take any player and make them better. A prime example would be Amari Stoudemire and Shawn Marion. So let's go ahead, simulate this season, see how this team does. And, you know, just, I thought it was interesting. You know, I was going to do my Kevin Garnett scenario today, but kind of want to put that one on hold and do this one. So simulate through date. See how this team does. Starting off 1-0, beating that Pelicans 196. Oh, a little 3-game losing streak, 4-game losing streak. Okay, so damn, they've already lost more games than they have, you know, all season, I believe, in real life at making this video. I believe. I don't know how many losses they have. So with that being said, you know, Steph Curry is valuable. But this is just, you know, it doesn't really make sense to me because, you know, in real life, no way this team without Steph Curry is going 9-11 this early in the season, you know. But I guess in a way it does show the value of Steph Curry to the Golden State Warriors. So I will admit my mistake there. Just looking at the based off the scenario right here. Of course, you know, we got to build up. I guess we don't got chemistry or nothing like that. But I don't know, man. Like, Steph Curry, to me, is a valuable player. It's just, I feel like it's not perceived like that. I don't know, maybe my mindset's wrong, guys. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I should retire from basketball. But, you know, my main mindset is in my last video. So actually looking at the team, we are at third in the conference now, fourth in the conference. Kind of fluctuating between there. You know, we are getting some L's out there, are taking some W's. But we're not really doing anything historically, which, you know, I didn't really expect it to anyway on 2K because you can't really... 2K is just a sample size of what real life would be. You know what I'm saying? It's just like... it's a programmed game with, you know, guys are meant to do certain things, and you know, you're never gonna see that in a video game. So really, the only way we could actually see this is, and this is actually a video that some people requested. It was kind of dark. They said, what would happen if Steph Curry was out for the season, like injury wise? It's like, dude, why can't you just say like, what would happen if Steph Curry was not on the Golden State Warriors like we're doing right now? You don't gotta get dark about it until the guy, you know, hope the guy can like tear his ACL or something like that. There's a lot of Curry haters out there, though. I do know that I'm not a Curry hater. You know, I actually love his. I really love the way that he like can shoot 10 feet behind the three-point line and knock it down, because that's similar to my style of gameplay. Not, I'm a smaller guy, not smaller like weight-wise. I'm kind of not really fat, but I'm not exactly Big Baby Davis. But the way I play basketball is I pretty much shoot from that far out because I'm so short. I'm like 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. So I kind of have to go out and I gotta shoot farther. Or if I try driving them, I'm gonna get a swat back every single time. Of course, I got some crispy layup moves out there to myself, so I'm not gonna lie. But hey, that's for a different day. So MVP wise, pretty much same song, same dance here. Everything pretty much the same. See any Golden State Warriors? Okay, we do got Draymond Green on the All-NBA third team, so it actually looks like he stepped up a bit for his team. Curious to see what these stats are all about, though. So let's just go ahead and jump into that. They finished with a 48-34 record. So, there was a few good points in the comment section on my last video saying that this team, without Steph Curry, is still a great team, but they're not historically great. And I think that's important to know. I think this is proving that right now, that this team is still good, just not great without Steph Curry. So it goes down to the mindset of how do you measure that difference between great and historical? Because 40-34 is still a really good record, but none of these players are going to win the MVP. But it's still a great team. Like, they're still fifth in the conference, which I guess is a good team, not great. Now, if you put Steph Curry on there, they'll be like a number 2, number 1 seed on 2K. So I don't know. It's just I feel like the gray area is too wide, where it's more based off speculation, if that makes sense. I'm kind of confusing myself with that. So, but it's all up in here. I know what I'm saying. I just hope that what I'm saying is being perceived to you guys the way that I think it be. I hope I'm not coming off differently than what some of you guys might think. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stats here. Player stats. Klay Thompson up to about 30 points a game. So, Steph Curry's averaging about that in the NBA in real life, I believe. So, Klay Thompson's score definitely went way up here. A few assists a game, a few steals. Wow, actually about 2 steals a game, about a block, almost 2. Shooting 21 field goals, 48%, 43% from 3. So shooting really good out there. Shooting almost Steph Curry-esque. Klay Thompson is, so he definitely stepped up. And then you look at the rest of the team, it's a lot of, balanced scoring, which is kind of what I expected. I expected Klay Thompson to be that main go-to scorer, and then just have kind of everybody else out there kind of contributing, kind of like in real life. Steph Curry is the go-to scorer. Of course, you got Klay Thompson go off every now and then, and it's just kind of everybody else contributing any way they can. And Draymond Green averaging, about 12, 13 points a game, about 12 rebounds, and about 6, 7 assists. So he's definitely the facilitator of this offense. Shaun Livingston averaged 12 points and 6, 7 assists, which is kind of what I guessed from him, from a production standpoint. But yeah, so let's see how this team does at the playoffs. Let's go ahead and simulate the playoffs real quick here. See how this team does. Simulate current round. Hopefully we don't get knocked out first round. All right, so we beat the first round. Knowing this game, we're not going to get past the Thunder because nobody ever does. They always win the damn championship. So simulate current round. All right, yeah, we got eliminated by the Thunder. Like I expected. Let's go ahead and simulate this for everybody likes to see the whole playoff simulate. The Pelicans actually made it very far, and of course the damn Thunder freaking won 4-1. They always win the damn playoffs, which is why it's hard to really sample this because we can only give what 2K programs into the game. That's all we can see. So it just kind of gives you the mindset and kind of the ground have you be to think about it and be like, maybe this is kind of what it would be like, which is kind of what scenarios is all about, because real life and a video game is two totally different things. But I don't know, guys, I feel like I rambled on a lot this video. Let's go ahead and check out the playoff stats here. Klay Thompson up to about 32 points a game there, so his scoring went up. Livingston's scoring action went up. So yeah, everybody still played really well. Klay Thompson being the main scorer, and then just everybody else kind of contributing any way they can. Have it be scoring, rebounding, assists, defense, all that good stuff. But yeah, so I hope I made I made this video interesting. I hope it's thought-provoking for you guys to see what this great historical basketball team in the Golden State Warriors would be like without a player who's having a historically great season in Steph Curry. Not saying that he's not the MVP. I want to get that through you guys. I'm not saying he's not the MVP. I'm just saying the idea behind the MVP needs to be looked at. In my mindset, it's the player that's playing the best, the most talented player, not the player most valuable to their team. Now, I know some people find that confusing, and maybe I'm confusing you guys with the way I'm portraying it. I hope I'm not. But anyway, hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Kind of a longer scenario than usual. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.